Hi guys, welcome back with me, Chow Chow 2025. Going to do more Persona
Welcome to the
story.
Velvet Room.
Naoto
This
Shirogane.
place exists between dream and reality, mind and matter. Now then, why don't you introduce yourself?
Wheel of Fortune, Suka Hikone. The fifth generation of Shirogane family of detectives is trusted by the police despite her age and investigated last year's murder. Her guns,
The
traps,
persona you have
and
acquired.
Sukuno Hikone's standard
It is a
move
side
make
of
her
you that
very
shows
dangerous.
itself when you face
I
Very
sense
well.
a case in the making.
What follows are my impressions of the organization called the Shadow Operatives, as well as their leader, Mitsuru Kirijo.
My finger fly across the keyboard. My last case was special. I need to complete my report before I forgot any important details. My name is Naoto Shirogane. I am a detective. Shirogane family has been working as a detective for a generation. Though I'm young and still in high school, I have been given the opportunity to take on several cases and have built up experience as a detective. My work has earned me some trust, as every so often the police will come for me for my assistance. That's where the story begins. A sudden request from the Inaba Police Department. It was about a month ago, only in April. Last summer, I had received a request from the prefectural police to come to the town of Inaba. A bizarre series of murder was occurring. A corpse would turn up every morning after a foggy night. In the end, it turned out to be the most difficult case of my career. It's been about 2 weeks since that case was closed. Still, from the public viewpoints, 4 months have passed since these crimes were stopped. The culprit has been arrested and prosecuted. Peace has returned, but to return there is a distressing proposition. I'm not unwilling to help the police again, but my involvement with the Frevis case is not something I like to go through again. To be completely honest, that particular case was no simple series of murders. During the course of my investigation, I obtained a supernatural power known as my persona, making me more than just a detective. I collaborated with other persona users and become directly involved with the event of the case. Of course, if I was to tell this to the police, it would be treated as a nonsense. Worst case scenario, I would be discredited. Having to leave out this detail while explaining the event of the case is more like a little nerve-wracking and feels like lying. But there you have it. While on my way to the police department for this new case, I got through a list of possible question and answer I would need. You never pity. Something different today though. After greeting the receptionist, I'm not led to the usual dull meeting room. Instead, I'm taken to a reception area on the top floor. A later trimmed sofa, a curved wooden table, a non-fixed riches setting.
Looks like this may take some time.
If this was just going to be paperwork and basic questioning, they wouldn't have moved me to this special room. Is it a new case? I have to wait several minutes before someone comes to speak with me. But the door finally opened. A man wearing a shirt not fitting the uniform of a local officer walks in.
I'm sorry about the wait.
He hands me his card.
Allow me to introduce myself.
His card has a lengthy title: National Police Agency, Security Bureau, Security Planning Division. I was shocked. They're more commonly known as the Public Safety Police. The Security Planning Division is the command center for the department that handles terrorist threat, coup d'etat plots, and foreign affairs. The secret police also belong to this group. Why would a person of this importance come all the way to the rural local like this? I look him in the eyes. He appears to be measuring me up.
I see you're enough on the ball that you don't need a lengthy introduction. Good.
Without any further talk, the man gets to his point.
Have you heard of the Kirijo group?
Have me heard of them?
I doubt there are many who haven't.
I'll get right to the point. We'd like to hire you to perform a sub-rosa investigation on them.
You need a corporation quietly investigated. Why me? I don't see what I can do that your own department cannot.
I would agree if shadows and personas weren't involved.
This time I'm unable to hide my surprise. But the man continues, either failing to see or purposely ignoring my reaction.
One summer 12 years ago, there was an explosion at the Kirijo-owned Tatsumi Port Island, killing over 50 people. You would have been very young at the time.
I've reviewed that case. The official explanation was that a gas main leaked during a construction project. Afterwards, though, a bizarre rumor saw quite a bit of circulation.
The mass media noticed that there was a suspiciously large number of researchers amongst the casualties. They floated the theory that the official explanation was a lie, and that the explosion was really caused by some dubious experiment.
Which is true.
No concrete evidence was ever found to support those claims, though. As I recall, the matter was left unsettled. Some may still remember the incident, though I don't think many could recall the finer points.
Those rumors were all true.
Please become firm.
What?
Those researchers under Koetsu Kirijo, the old Kirijo group manager, were working on harnessing the power of shadows. The experiment went awry, and they lost control of the shadows. That's what caused the explosion.
Experiments using shadows. They lost control? Are you saying the shadows flooded the city? The real world?
I can't speak to that. There was no way of getting hard answers back then. No one took the spooky stories seriously. But that accident got the government and the police's attention, though they didn't launch an investigation until a year or two ago.
That couldn't be helped. Law can only preside over the world as we know it. Things that can't be explained can be governed.
Only those in the Kirijo group know exactly what happened and how much of the aftermath was dealt with.
The aftermath?
That word has a bad ring to it. It brings to mind a cover-up of some dark secret.
Their cleanup efforts continued until quite recently. They were using some method known only to them, entirely behind our backs. We think they've been conducting illegal activities in the 10 years since then, while hiding behind their cleanup efforts.
And you wish for me to confirm this?
Not only do you have a relationship with us, you have a persona and extensive experience in the field. We can't think of a better candidate.
And since I'm not directly affiliated with the police, if I were to be caught in a trap, it wouldn't lead back to you.
If that's the way you want to put it.
Our play was meant to be sarcastic, but this conversation is exceptionally draining. I must applaud public safety. They know everything about anybody they choose to investigate. There's no point in trying to bargain with them. You continue explaining indifferently, as if able to sense my resignation.
Last year, in conjunction with the Kirijo group, we established an unofficial department in the force, nicknamed the Shadow Operatives. It's a special unit capable of dealing with shadow-related cases.
This is news to my ears. That's a rather bold move. You went so far as to join forces with the ones you suspect of illicit activities?
That's exactly why we did it. We must keep a leash on them by integrating them into the system.
But the police are far behind information-wise. Officially, you are higher on the chain of command, but less so in practice.
I tried throwing out a theory as I began to get grasps on what's taking place. The man didn't so much as a flinch, but he didn't give me much of an answer either.
You'd need some leverage to keep your hold on them. Thus, this secret investigation. What exactly do you want me to do?
That will depend on your answer.
But that's their game plan. I figure as much. An organization as big as the Kirijo group is hiding the secret about shadows. Now, should I take the job or not? As a person with persona abilities, I'm naturally interested in learning how much is known about the shadows. And this job could potentially give me leverage over the government in the future. While I'm deep into, the man continues, asks if he can read my
If you
mind.
think we're hiring you to further our organization, you're mistaken.
Can't help but look up at the obvious change in his
Our
tone.
sources say it's possible that they've been talking students from the Kirijo-owned school into doing their dirty work. They've been pleading ignorance while making ordinary kids clean up whatever messes they've left. And that, we don't forgive. We're supposed to be upholding the law. We can't overlook things like this.
They're surprisingly sincere. Staring right at me, unlike up until now, he is as strong and bold. He truly doesn't want anyone innocent to suffer. Of course, this could be an act to convince me, but even then, I do agree with that opinion. All that remains is to find out Kirijo's intention.
Alright, in that case, I accept. Though I don't plan on abandoning my school life here. I'll do what I can to help, but only within those limits.
I'll never have dictated condition like this before, but the reason I had to come to this town and transfer to Yasugami High School was all for my investigation. But the school life and the dear friends that I've gained have become irreplaceable to me. It may sound childish to demand that I stay with my friends, but if they refuse to budge in that regard, then that's that.
That's fine
However,
with us.
He accepted my condition almost too easily. He then immediately began to explain the details of the
At
case.
the end of this month, the Kirijo group is airlifting some special cargo. Kirijo has asked our help in making sure the cargo is transported safely. We'd like you to accompany them as a police observer.
What do they mean, transported safely?
A police escort, assurance of no public investigation if any unforeseen situation were to arise, things like that. Of course, if anything does happen, we will hold them responsible.
And what is this special cargo?
It's something to do with the shadow research. They've admitted that much, but we don't know the exact details. According to our research, it's most likely something from the old ergonomics research laboratory, classified as risk level 4. In other words, even though it's sealed up tight, it's extremely dangerous.
They even have a risk scale for something like this? It seemed that Kirijo research goes into a variety of different things.
Also,
As I'm thinking, the man slides a photograph to me. It's a beautiful young lady. Her eyes show a strong will, as striking as her blazing red hair. Her hair reminds me of something. I may have seen her picture while going through the documents regarding the Port Island incident. Of course, the girl in this picture was much younger.
this woman will be on that flight. Her name is Mitsuru Kirijo.
Kirijo.
She's the oldest daughter of the Kirijo family, Koetsu Kirijo's granddaughter. It was he who devised the experiments 12 years ago. You should know that she's also a powerful persona user.
A persona user beside us? I was suspecting something like this, but to hear it out loud is still shocking. So there are persona users other than those of us involved in the case last year.
We believe she took the lead in gathering students 3 years ago when she was still in high school. We'd like you to first go to her residence and meet with her.
Alright,
I'm sure you figured out by now, since she's a high-ranking Kirijo group official and a persona user, but she's a Shadow Operative. She's member number 1, the general manager. And not because she's a Kirijo, but because she has the abilities to back it up. Can you do this? If she's dirty, then this won't be easy for you.
I already accepted your assignment, so I must simply make the best of it.
Offer my hand. It has the firm grips of someone who's worked on the front lines of the law. A few days later, I received a message informing me that the transport is to be on the 1st of May. It's on a school day, but since I'm taking a job, there's nothing I can do about it. In fact, I should be glad that this didn't overlap with the extended holiday. I haven't heard the details, but accept to have some important arrangement during Golden Week. Arrangement to reunite with my upperclassman, Naoto Shirogane, who was the leader of our group during last year's incident. I keep thinking about our reunion. It's only been 2 weeks since he left, but it feels much longer. I suppose this goes to show how much I'm looking forward to it. But I'm going off track. I need to think about my new job, so I hastily pull myself together. It's 2 weeks from Naoto Shirogane. May 1st. The cargo is due to be transferred from the laboratory near the Kirijo mansion. I make my way to the mansion to present myself and end up accommodating the security details. The limousine is incredibly long. Apparently, it isn't all that rare for the upper class in other countries to ride in cars this large, but it's downright comical on the tiny roads of Japan. That was where I met Mitsuru Kirijo in person.
Nice to meet you. My name is Naoto Shirogane. I'll be acting as an observer today.
I've been told about you. It's nice meeting you as well. I'm Mitsuru Kirijo.
Her beauty is enough to attract anyone's attention. She was so much less imposing than in the picture.
I didn't expect the police's observer to be so young.
Does that bother you?
Oh, no. I didn't mean to downplay your abilities. Forgive me.
I took a look at Kirijo-san's face. She's the only daughter of the founding family, but it's been 2 years since she's renounced the practice of the Kirijo being run by the family. In other words, she's simply the CEO daughter now, not the heir to the company. It must be used to constant stress being a female leader at such a young age. Getting people to acknowledge her must have been a struggle. I don't need to mince my words in dealing with types like her. I decide to cut to the chase.
Tell me, what are the contents of your cargo?
I'm ashamed to have to admit this, but since the original researchers have passed away, we don't know what's in it either. We can't allow the worst-case scenario for such an item to come to pass in the middle of a city. That's why we plan to transfer these items to a distant facility according to their indicated risk level.
A natural decision. Her posture, her action. If that was still an act, I must commend her for her ability to deal with the unexpected. But, personally, my impression is that she's a trustworthy person. Before leaving, I have a chance to see the Kirijo mansion. I have to say that it's surprisingly simple. It wasn't just empty luxury, but something rather more rational. I feel that it showed what kind of person she is. At any rate, her intelligence and presence are proof enough of her upbringing. If she was hiding something, it would be hard to figure that out.
Then I'll stay near the cargo along with the police escort. I'll contact you immediately if anything happens.
All right. If anything is unclear to you, feel free to ask me.
Her eyes look straight at me, and I feel like she could see through everything. I end our conversation shortly after, and quietly wait for us to arrive. Nice.